What's up, YouTube? This is Brian, and today I want to talk about my experience keeping tangs. Now, I've always loved tangs, or surgeonfish as another name that they're called. I believe that having a reef tank with a group of tangs in it is one of the most beautiful sights that you will see in the reef keeping hobby. Now, of course, with a tang being as popular as a fish that it is, there are a lot of rules that you need to know about in order to successfully keep tangs. Now, just with any other rule, some of these rules can be bent, some of these rules can be broken. It's completely up to you. It's your tank, you deal with it how you want to deal with it. But I think you should know going into it what you're up against and some of the challenges of keeping tangs. So first off, tangs are territorial algae grazers, which means that they're going to defend their territory and that you should also feed them a nice supply of either algae that's naturally growing from your reef or nori that you put into the tank. That's very important for them to get their nutrition, especially from eating algae. Now, tangs normally grow to a large size, some of them even 1 foot or even more. So you need to have a larger tank in order to successfully keep these fish. Now, you'll see some people put a group of tangs in a 75-gallon. Once again, you do what you want to do, but I don't think, in my opinion, this is the correct way to keep tangs. Tangs typically are aggressive. Like I said earlier, they're territorial and they will fight for the right in order to graze algae in their certain areas. So one thing that you need to do in order to keep this aggression down is not put the same type of tangs, the same body types in your reef. For example, you normally don't want to put a yellow tang with a sailfin tang or a powder blue with a powder brown tang. If you do this, you're going to have a lot of aggression issues and it will cause to have a more stressful tank. Now, once again, these are not 100% rules. All these fish have different personalities. You can break some of these rules. Like I said, you can bend some of these rules. It's completely up to you. The last rule is probably one of the most important, and it's to know that tangs are ick magnets. Because of their slime coats and how thin they are, they're pretty easy to have an infestation of the parasite ick. So it's very possible that the tang that you're looking at in the pet store right now has ick, and if you bring that tang home, you can spread ick to your entire tank and have a complete wipeout. Once again, it's up to you on how you want to manage this. Do you want to quarantine all your fish? Do you want to run an ick management tank where you're trying to reduce the stress in order to not let ick flare up? Once again, it's completely up to you, and how you break these rules or follow these rules or bend this rule, it's all depending on how you want to run your tank. Myself, when I first stocked my tank, I had a hippo tang, a nasal tang, a sailfin tang, and a yellow tang. And I put all these fish in at different times, which is breaking one of the major rules. The other rule I broke is by having a yellow tang and a sailfin tang, same body types. But I was lucky, and in this situation, none of my tangs fought. I had a peaceful tank with that many tangs in a 180. But I wanted to push it. I've always wanted a purple tang, and when I became successful at keeping fish, I finally thought to myself, hey, I can now get a purple tang and be able to be successful with that fish. So I went out and I bought a purple tang. Unfortunately, between the time that my purple tang was in quarantine and the time that I was ready to release it into my display tank, my sailfin tang died due to an accident that I had with some equipment. So finally, when the purple tang went in, there was a purple tang, a hippo tang, a nasal tang, and a yellow tang. This put the tank in utter chaos. The yellow tang and the purple tang started fighting as soon as the purple tang hit the water. The yellow tang would not allow the purple tang out of the corner. He wouldn't allow him to eat. He wouldn't allow him to freely swim. In fact, the yellow tang beat the purple tang up so much that he damaged his fins. Now, I let this go on for a few days, hoping that the aggression would die down, which it didn't. So, as I said before, you have to be ready to make changes when you see situations like this. So I went out, I got a fish trap, and I was able to trap the yellow tang and move him out into a quarantine tank. As soon as I did that, the stress level in the tank went down, the purple tang started swimming out and around, and now I have no issues with aggression in my tank again. This yellow tang was fine with the sailfin tang, but like I said, sometimes things work, sometimes things don't, and you have to be ready to make a change when you see that you need to make a change. Well, that's what's been going on in my tank. Right now, that purple tang is enjoying life. He's out swimming around. He's looking good. And as soon as his fins heal up, he'll be a great looking fish in my tank. Well, YouTube, thanks for checking me out. Happy reefing, you guys.